What if the quiet of the early morning isn't just quiet? It's 3 o'clock. The house is still. The world outside is asleep. Yet something inside you is fully awake. A stirring, a tension, a question that won't go away. You shift under the covers. You hear your own breath, and you wonder, again, why this keeps happening. Maybe it's not just about losing sleep. Maybe it's something deeper. A sense that rest isn't enough, that something within you is unsettled, reaching for peace it can't quite touch. It's easy to assume this is just part of aging, a normal glitch in the rhythm of later life. But what if there's more to it? What if this moment, this hour that feels so alone, is actually your body trying to speak? Not through pain or panic, but through signals. Gentle ones, rhythms, patterns, a quiet language that often goes unnoticed in the noise of the day. Waking at this hour may not be a mistake. It might be a doorway, a moment where body, mind, and spirit align, asking for a deeper kind of attention. And no, you're not broken. You're shifting, changing, growing in a way that deserves tenderness, not urgency. In this video, we'll gently explore 5 reasons why your body might be waking you at 3 a.m. These aren't just symptoms, they're messages, and understanding them might help you rest more deeply and live with more ease, more presence, more clarity. So take a slow breath. Settle in. This is your time. Your body is listening. Maybe now, it's your turn to listen back. The decline of melatonin. There's a rhythm inside us, a quiet one. It keeps time even when our thoughts slow down. At the heart of that rhythm is melatonin, a gentle messenger that signals when it's time to rest. It's not loud or forceful. It's more like a soft light, guiding the body into sleep, a natural transition from doing to simply being. But as we get older, that light fades. Melatonin becomes less steady. The body, once sure of when to relax and when to wake, starts to lose that sense of timing. And sometimes it wakes us early, 3 in the morning, alert, not because we're done sleeping, but because something feels incomplete. This isn't just sleeplessness. It's the body adjusting to a quieter rhythm, one that needs more support than before. As evening falls, things like bright lights, screen time, or even irregular routines can send mixed signals, and that gentle messenger, it starts to pull back. Like a bird disturbed by sudden noise, it hides. Then the night loses its calm. The rest feels shallow, and the early morning becomes a regular visitor. Imagine melatonin as a soft breeze at night, calming the body, quieting the mind. To feel that breeze again, we may need to return to simpler evenings, dimmer lights, less stimulation, a slower pace. Not as a rule, but as a way of showing kindness to ourselves. Because melatonin isn't just a chemical, it's a mirror, reflecting how we relate to time, to stillness, to surrender. And when we honor that, even gently, the night begins to hold us again. And the silence before dawn becomes restful, not restless. The shift in your body's internal clock. As the years go by, something quiet changes inside us. It's almost like the sun sets a little earlier within. Not in the sky, but in the rhythm of the body. That internal timing, the one that once followed the day with ease, begins to drift. The body starts feeling tired sooner. Evening comes, and it gently asks to rest. And then, in the early hours before dawn, it wakes again, as if the day has already begun. This shift isn't a flaw, it's part of a natural rhythm. adjusting with age, a realignment, a gentle nudge from the body saying, "My timing has changed." But in a world that still moves to the pace of younger lives, this change can feel out of step. You may feel out of sync, even alone in the quiet hours while the world continues to sleep. Still, this shift holds a kind of wisdom. Imagine it like an early sunset inside you. Not a sign of something wrong, but of something new taking shape. A different pace, a different need. Often, what causes discomfort isn't the change itself, but the expectation that things should stay the same. That sleep should last as long as it always did, that your body should follow old patterns even as it grows into new ones. And yet, your body, like the seasons, simply responds to time in its own way. There's peace in honoring that, in understanding that an earlier start to the day might not be a problem, but a passage, a space for reflection, for presence, for noticing things you might have missed in busier years. Your body isn't getting it wrong. It's adapting, maturing, speaking in a new voice. And walking with that voice, instead of against it, can bring a kind of freedom, a gentler way of being with yourself. When the body speaks in the quiet. During the day, life is full of noise, chores, conversations, distractions, all moving quickly around and through us. But at night, when the world finally quiets down, something else begins to rise. The body, no longer competing with the chaos of the day, starts to speak. Not with words, but with sensations. A tightness, a throb, a gentle ache that asks to be noticed. Or maybe it's the need to get up again, even though you just lay down. This isn't random. It's not your body turning against you. It's your body asking to be acknowledged. As we grow older, we become more aware of things that were once easy to ignore. Stiff joints, a sensitive stomach, the urgency to use the bathroom. These signals become clearer in the stillness of the night. The interruption in your rest isn't always about sleep itself. Sometimes it's about what the body has been carrying, quietly, until now. Some traditions speak of the early hours as sacred, a time when the boundary between body and soul becomes thin. Maybe that's why, in the deep quiet, the body chooses to speak, not to trouble you, but to ask for care. Noticing these patterns with patience can open a new path. You begin to recognize what's happening more clearly, not just the pain, but the message behind it. Nothing is failing, it's just being revealed. And with that awareness, something within starts to soften. This isn't about fixing the discomfort right away. It's about meeting it, listening to what it's trying to show you. Your body is not here to punish you. It's your companion, and it's wise. Often the ache is simply a form of asking, and when it's truly heard, it can begin to change. How daily habits shape rest. Over time, the small things we do each day begin to add up. A shorter walk, an earlier dinner, a nap that stretches into the late afternoon. These changes can seem minor, but together they begin to shape the rhythm of our sleep. The body watches, quietly, and it adjusts. It doesn't ask why, it simply responds to the signals it's given. So, when our days slow down, when we move less, rest more, and settle in earlier, the body begins to expect rest sooner too. And naturally, it wakes earlier as well. Waking at 3 a.m. might not be a sleep issue at all. It might just be the natural result of a day that ended early, a cycle that started and finished ahead of schedule. This isn't about getting it wrong. It's about recognizing the body's quiet logic. Our habits, even the smallest ones, are like notes in a melody. Together, they create a rhythm, one that our body follows, whether we're aware of it or not. And when that rhythm shifts, it's not a failure. It's information, a message that invites us to look a little closer, because how we live in the daylight shapes how we rest in the dark. Maybe what's needed isn't control, but reconnection. A gentle return to a steadier pace, a more balanced flow, a closer relationship with the light, with movement, with presence. Sleep may begin in darkness, but it's nourished by the way we live when the sun is up. The thoughts that rise in the dark. There's a moment deep in the night when everything seems suspended. The streets go quiet. Clocks lose their meaning. Time softens into something slower, something more personal. And in that stillness, the mind often becomes louder. Thoughts that stayed buried during the day begin to surface. Memories you haven't touched in years. Worries that seemed small now feel much bigger. The silence around you has a way of amplifying what lives within. At 3 a.m., it's not always the body that wakes. Sometimes it's the heart, the soul, rising gently with questions that have waited patiently, old fears, unspoken grief, choices left behind, the kind of thoughts that ask not to be solved but simply heard. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this. It isn't weakness, it's honesty. The quiet hours open a space that daylight often rushes past. And in that space, what remains is you. That can feel lonely, but maybe that loneliness isn't emptiness. Maybe it's presence, a deeper kind. A part of you stepping forward, asking for your attention. Not every waking moment is meant to be fixed. Some are meant to be met because sometimes what wakes you isn't the noise of discomfort, but the invitation to feel what's real. When these emotions are welcomed without judgment, something softens inside. Something shifts. What once felt like unrest becomes a mirror, a quiet moment of truth. And the night, instead of being a problem, becomes a pause, a place where you return to yourself, listening to the call at 3 a.m. Not every interruption in the night is a problem. Sometimes it's a message, a quiet one. It rises when the world has gone still, when there's nothing left to distract or delay what needs to be heard. Waking at 3 a.m., especially later in life, might feel inconvenient, even frustrating, but maybe it's something more. A moment of inner wisdom, a signal from the body or the soul. These early wake-ups often carry meaning. They're not random. They can come from shifts in your hormones, changes in routine, a discomfort you've pushed aside, or emotions waiting in the background. Whatever the source, the message is clear. Something inside is asking to be seen, and that doesn't mean something is wrong. You are not broken. You're evolving, and in that evolution, there are pauses, moments of clarity that ask for your presence. Maybe your body is saying, "This is how I'm learning to balance." Maybe your heart is whispering, "There's something I still need to say." Maybe your soul is simply longing to be met just as it is. Your body hears every whisper from within, and in those quiet in-between hours, it's easier to notice what usually gets overlooked. True rest doesn't come only from sleep. It comes from peace, from softness, from treating yourself with a little more compassion than yesterday. So, what? If waking up at this hour isn't a disruption, but a doorway, a chance to reconnect, to listen, to honor what's alive in you, Not just your sleep cycle, but your story. If anything in this video touched something inside you, if it made you feel seen or understood, know that it wasn't by chance. There's a path unfolding, quiet, steady, and deeply yours. And maybe, just maybe, each of these early awakenings isn't the end of sleep, but the beginning of something new. Something more whole. Something more you.